time's up. Let's do this.
We're in for a wild night.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 247 of Born to Be Wild, a wild Hearthstone podcast where we have fun, hang out with friends, talking about the wild format of Hearthstone, and spotlighting members of the wild community. I am your host, Hydralisk. It's great to be back on this wonderful Friday evening here in beautiful British Columbia. I am joined by my fellow host, Schmoopydady.
We who are about to spend arena tickets salute you.
For those of you joining us for the first time, welcome aboard. We record this podcast live every Friday evening at twitch.tv/BornToBeWildHS, and the video version of this podcast is then posted to YouTube shortly thereafter. Audio versions are also distributed to all podcast apps. However you are watching, listening, or absorbing via osmosis this podcast today, thank you. Yes. You.
Content plug, Schmoopydady. Before we get into the main topic of the show tonight, I'd like to say a quick thank you to the patrons of our show. Your support means the world to us. If you enjoy this content, please like, subscribe, and comment on this video on YouTube. Another simple way to support the show is to leave a review on your podcast platform of choice. If you're watching live on Twitch, we've got some awesome emotes that you can unlock by subscribing to the channel. This is free if you use Amazon Prime. Finally, if you'd like to support the show financially, you can join our Patreon for as little as $1 per month. We have some channels in the Discord that are unlocked by subscribing to the Patreon, where you can see the show coming together each week. Check it out. And if you'd like to interact with us personally, please join our Discord, a free and amazing online community of friends from all around the world who love talking about Wild Hearthstone. Links to all of this stuff and more, including our merch, can be found on our website, which is www.borntobewildhs.com. Hydra, how was your week?
I don't know how it went so fast, but I'm so sore. Particularly from one of the dumbest things. You know, those like weed picker tools you can buy that sort of like stab into the ground and it grabs the weed and you pull it up. Well, I waited way too long to actually buy one. Because I had one and I feel like I left it in my yard and it just went missing one day. Like, I don't know if someone took it or I'm just stupid and I lost it. But I spent every evening this week with this tiny little hand tool that has got like a lever on it and just like pulling them, like sitting on the ground, on the grass, or like on my hands, and he's pulling these little weeds. And then yesterday I stopped off at my local Walmart and I bought one of those ones where you just stand up and you stab it into the ground and then it picks it up, and it's got like a pump shotgun sort of mode, and then you do that and it just sort of shoots the weed off into your little bin or your wheelbarrow or whatever you're using.
Over your neighbor's fence. You just
over your neighbor's. And
take that, Jerry.
Use that thing. Take that, Jerry. Yeah. I used that thing last night. Actually, I was listening to the Edmonton Oilers game. They won, by the way, going to the Stanley Cup final round, which is going to be pretty sweet. So I was listening to the hockey game instead of watching it because I was so obsessed with picking weeds. I've got one of those like 4-foot high green bins, that the trucks come around, they pick it up, whatever. I got 2 of those. Yesterday, I filled one of those 3/4 of the way up with the amount of weeds that I picked with this thing. I can't believe how many weeds are actually in my yard. I think there's more weeds than there is grass at this point. Like, it's really bad.
If it's green and short and I can mow it, I don't look too closely. I'll be honest.
Yeah. No, and that's what I was doing. Right. And so you just kept mowing it and it still looks nice. And eventually, like this year, it's just like the weeds are growing so fast. You're like, oh, look at this. That's not grass. Like, it's legit like 80% weeds. Is so bad.
Unlucky.
So I basically every night this week was picking weeds. And then I got that tool and my arm, like my forearm today, like I had to do real work. And like my arm was almost useless because it was so sore from doing it.
Oh no.
But Yeah. I was kind of like, I had to swing a hammer, and I was like, my arm hurts from picking weeds, and I can't swing a hammer. Kind of ridiculous. But yeah, so that's my old man complaint for this week, that I've picked too many weeds. However, it's sort of like a bonus thing that I get when I'm going outside and doing that, because I don't care that I'm actually doing this chore, because I'm always listening to one of my books, right? So if I'm outside for like 3 hours picking weeds, I'm actually just like having a good time. Yeah, so I did that. And then speaking of my books, this came out. So this is Stephen King's Never Flinch. It literally came out like 3 days ago, which is pretty sweet. I have not actually listened to it yet, but listen to it. This is a physical book, people. I have to read this one with my own eyeballs. But Stoked, so that continues off of, that's like the Bill Hodges trilogy, and it goes into, what is it? The Outsider, If It Bleeds, Holly, and then this one. There's like 7 or 8 books in this series by this point. So super stoked to get into that. With Hearthstone, I still haven't finished. There's like, we're in the final week of the event, right? What's the last section? What's the last thing we need to do for the weekly quest? Do you remember?
I completed it so long ago. I have no idea.
I have not finished the event, but I'm going to do whatever that last quest is. Obviously, I have to finish it before, what is it, Tuesday, I think it ends on. And then in the only little bit of spare time that I've had, I started jamming. I didn't know I owned it, but at some point in time, I don't know if you got upgraded for free if you already owned GTA 5 on your computer, but there's like the enhanced version where they like upped all the graphics and all this stuff. I somehow own that. I don't know if like I bought that in a moment of weakness or just everybody got it.
No.
Like, I don't know, maybe it's one of those times that like I paid for this thing and I didn't realize it, but you know that there's been like the trailers for GTA 6 out. And
yeah, and there's big memes about it too, about how like, oh man, we got this before GTA 6. We got XYZ before GTA 6.
Yeah. So I got, I guess, GTA 5 enhanced before GTA 6. So I started playing GTA 5 again just because it's been a few years since I played through. I think I've played through the campaign 3 or 4 times. It's always fun. So super stoked about that. And then nothing else really cool going on other than like the biggest struggle in my life right now is my wife and I are trying to figure out like what we're gonna do for our summer vacations. Like looking at all these cool, like,
seems nice.
I know that. I just realized how privileged I sounded like while I was stating that. I might even cut that out of the podcast.
Oh yeah. That's fine.
Just kidding. But yeah, no, we're just looking at these cool like cabins on, there's like the islands, because we're right on the coast, right? And there's like these cabins you can rent and stuff like that, and think about getting these little like waterfront cabins. And Rory's mad at me because she's not going to be invited. So
the cat can tell already.
Yeah. I just said it and she was screaming at me. Right? But I'm super stoked for summer, in all honesty, because like I just feel like we live in this rainforest, right? Like it rains so much, and we finally come out of the other side where it is just sunny and awesome. So stoked for that. But that was my week. Enough about me. Schmoopydady, how was your week?
Yeah, so Schmoopy finished his homework book first, which is really cool. So now he has no more homework book. Awesome for Schmoopy. Schmoopy's really stoked about that. I think he kind of scammed it a little bit. He thought he's like, well, my notebook has 70 pages and Billy's notebook has 80 pages, and Javier's notebook has 100 pages. And I'm like, all right, so we gave you a shorter book, and so you're done too early, you schmuck. He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, fine. I guess we'll let it ride. So he's happy. He doesn't have any more of his like tracing homework to do anymore. He's got great handwriting, but that's mostly what he's like. He does it in like a minute, and then he goes and he plays his video game. So that's my Schmoopy update for the week. We had some great streams. One of my favorites, the video's not doing very well, which is making me sad, but one of my favorites, we had a stream during the middle of the week where chat turned Hearthstone into Korean. They made me, redeemed a reward, and I changed the language for, I'd say, a good like hour and a half. And we played it in Korean.
It's a long time.
And like I was struck immediately by like, the intro animations, how the intro animations tend to be, you get used to a certain cadence, right? And then all of a sudden it's a different language, and like the hero portraits feel like they're on there forever. I'm like, oh my God, did these guys shut up? What's going on? Why is it taking so long? And then And so like I'm like, all right, so this is kind of fun, and I don't really hear the voice lines because I've got music playing and I'm sort of listening through the speakers, and so that's usually taking most of my concentration. But chat likes hearing the different voice lines, and it wasn't just I was doing aggro decks. We did some decks that like I wasn't super used to, and I did successfully pilot the cleanest Mechathune Druid game I've ever probably done in my life, which was interesting because there's a lot of like there's a lot of choose ones cards in Mechathune, so I had to correctly choose the choose one cards, which chat makes fun of me. They say that I play those sort of decks faster when I can't read the card versus when I can. It's like my brain stops and reads the card that I've played a million times each time when I can actually read it. When I can't read it, it's just like, well, lizard brain, take the wheel. Let's do the right one. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Like when you're driving and you're like signaling, you got to turn left. You don't think about signaling to turn left. You just signal left, right? Like,
pretty much.
Part of you's contemplating because you're
and
choosing.
Now I will move
right.
my fingers down because that will flip the lever and that will signal that I am turning left. It sounds like a save file doing this, like doing the anime thing. I had some fun streams. One of them was in Korean, and it was actually kind of a fun challenge because I know so many of the cards playing Wild every night that like sometimes it's funny like just being like let me see if I gain a mana crystal or I draw. I'm not sure on this one. It's one for Guff. It's one for the other one. Who cares? On the personal stuff, my YouTube, my own personal YouTube today hit 1K subs. Yay! So I have the ad money turned on. We'll see where that goes, but it's really cool. It's a fun achievement.
You'll get
it's fun.
3 cents.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait for those 3 cents. You know what I'm going to do with those 3 cents? I'm going to put it towards the principal on my mortgage, and that'll be 3 less cents that I have to pay off over a 30-year mortgage. So that's a lot of fun. It's cool. It's weird. It's really weird.
You know what's it's like congratulations. It's like this milestone that you just feel that you hit. However, the money doesn't matter like at all unless you're getting like hundreds of thousands, if not like millions of views.
Oh yeah, no, it's like Twitch Partner. It doesn't functionally do anything, but I'm like, but I want to try and hit it because it's a thing to try and hit and to get the funny check mark.
It's like this thing. I remember when I don't remember what the number got to. Not to really like share financial stuff, but like when Born to Be Wild hit the 1,000 subscribers mark on YouTube, we started watching to see like, let's see the money roll in, right? And it was like slowly creeping up. And by the time it got to like, I think it has to actually be a certain amount before you can cash it into. You have to wait till it gets to like $100 or something.
Yeah, they won't send it until it gets $100.
Yeah, and I remember Nate's like, we hit $100. What should we do? Like, we're like so excited and I was like, just leave it. Like, I don't even know what it's at now. That was the last time we talked about it.
Oh no.
I'd have to go and look.
This is not a You mean this is not a profitable adventure? Are you implying, sir? Are you implying making a podcast about a fringe game mode in a 10-year-old game? That in a format, in a media that Zoomers don't suck up at all, is somehow not profitable? I have no idea what you're talking about. This is slander to the highest degree.
The most specific you could get, not just a Hearthstone podcast, but a Hearthstone Wild podcast.
Specifically, a Hearthstone Wild podcast, right?
Less than 5% of the Hearthstone population even plays the mode.
Maybe 15% have heard of us. We're hoping that'd be good. But yeah, no, it's it's a fun personal milestone, and I don't know, like you, I can't wait because I think they updated after 24 hours on the little app that I have. I'm like, oh, I wonder how many cents I got this time. I want to see how that works out.
It's cute. So it's cute to see number go up, right?
Yeah, it's cute to see. It's it's a little dopamine hit. All right, well that's it for my week. My week was pretty fast because, I was on vacation until, I was on vacation Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday was senior skip day, so I barely saw any of my students.
Right.
And then so it was just like, get through Thursday, get through Wednesday, and Thursday, Friday, and that was fairly easy to do with fast lessons that were fairly engaging. So, what do we got on for news this week?
Welcome to the news. The news is so good.
All right. So first up, Masters Tour Spring Championship is here. Now, I guess Cole's notes. What you need to know is it starts on Friday, June 6th, and it goes through Sunday, June 8th. Starts at 9 a.m. Pacific time each day. Same old 4-deck conquest. But one thing that I'd like to point out, which is cool, is there's a big prize pool, $50,000. There are drops, so you can earn up to 3 packs from the next expansion while watching on Twitch. So 1 each day. That's important. I like it when I get packs from the next expansion. More on that later. But that's just a bonus. So make sure that if you want those to tune in, watch. And we also, one sort of cool thing is we got the players here. If you look at the groups, down here in Group C, we have Born to Be Wild alumni member Maxibon will be playing in this tourney. So, and there's, I don't know a lot of the standard players, but there's some other people in here. There's
you guys
Pocket
interviewed
Trains
Pizza
playing.
Though. Pizza's in Group B. Pizza's been on the show.
That's a good point. Pizza also is Born to Be Wild alumni. Been on the show. Pocket Train is playing Fury Hunter. I don't know a lot of, like I said, the standard players. Gabby's playing. But yeah, so Pizza and Maxibon. So let's cheer for those two guys. And see how we go. Notable caster is we do have Edelweiss from Coin Concede is going to be one of the casters for this Masters Tour Spring Championship. So tune in and cheer on Edelweiss just as a good caster, Edelweiss has been on Coin Concede for quite a long time now at this point. But so that's cool. Next up in the news, something I thought was pretty cool that I wanted to highlight is in the shop, we do have Hearthstone promoting Wild.
Yeah.
What?
This is cool.
This is cool. So there's the Return to Wild bundles. So there is a Return to Wild bundle, and then there's a golden version of this. So first we have, so this is for $39.99 or 4,000 runestones. You get 3 random legendary cards from a curated pool of cards. So I'm guessing you're not getting things like Sergeant Sally or something. Like, are they only putting
Yeah. They put a lot of
relevant?
good cards. Do we have the
I don't know if I have the. I don't know if I have the list.
I've seen infinite
if-
screenshots for it. I will track it down.
Okay, yeah, take a look. There's also 20 Caverns of Time packs, 20 Alterac packs, and 20 Stormwind packs. And I know that you like Stormwind. That's
best.
a Schmoopydady. That's a Schmoopydady expansion.
What a wonderful expansion. No trauma there. Nope. No siree.
So that's
I've
pretty
got it.
sweet. So you got
Ready?
it.
So the legendaries that you can get. The curated wild signature legendary pool for the bundle is Lord Merogar, Arana Thrillseeker, Freya, Keeper of Nature, Theradrin the Lost, Grandmaster Rumath, Sunsapper Lanessa, Raza the Chained, Sonya, Water Dancer, Thorim, Stormlord, Popgar the Putrid, Lotheb, Gen Greymane, Baku the Moon Eater, Bran Bronzebeard, got there, chat, Leroy Jenkins, and Prince Renathal. Some good high rolls in there, especially because if we remember, Leroy came in a bunch of like 4, and I think Sheep did go for it and high rolled Leroy and one of the other ones.
Yeah.
Right? And like he got at least Leroy, and he was just like, all right, I'm good. But like you could high roll Leroy on this one too. I did in fact get it. I high rolled Bran, and I got Sonya, which felt like a little bit of a low roll. It's fine, but I would have enjoyed one of the other ones.
I would assume that this also does follow the non-duplicate rule that they have. Like I know the packs will obviously, but the
100%.
random legendaries, like it would have to. That was the first duplicate rule they put in. It was that you wouldn't get duplicate legendaries from packs. So yeah, I would assume you're definitely not going to get a duplicate here.
Yeah. Oh, I don't have the curated legendary pool for the first bundle, but the first bundle was good. It had like Open the Waygate. It had like Astalor. I think in that one I got Benny, Astalor, and Shirvala when I bought that one, which was really cool because it was like, okay, well I already have these cards, but let's just imagine I'm this is the only money I'm going to spend on the format. Benny unlocks Shadow Priest, which is awesome. Astalor is not seeing as much play, but is kind of like fringe playable, and it's just like a 40th card you can throw in a deck, honestly, and it just kind of be like, all right, well, I have a little bit more top end, and that's fine. And Shirvala does see fringe play, but it's a very good deck right now. So like, I don't know. I thought they did a good job of picking good options. I think the Demon Seed was in there too. Like it was a curated pool of like playable cards, and it was like, this is if they're gonna do this when they're selling wild packs or like wild content, I'd rather have the curated pool, so it's not like, I got like, I got the Beast, yay. Like nobody, like that's. I tell people actively, like I have standard players, like I'm going to get into wild. I'm going to start by buying wild packs. I'm like, don't do that ever. Like don't ever buy wild packs unless you're close to a complete collection, because then wild packs will fill in the gaps that you're missing, because that's kind of what they're meant for. So like this is I think the right way to do, like, hey, you want to get into wild? Here's some content, but it's like actually useful things, not crap.
Agreed. So there's 10 days left on this bundle. There's also the golden Return to Wild bundle, right? So this one is a little more pricey. The first bundle here, this was $39.99 or 4,000 runestones. The golden Return to Wild bundle obviously has way less things in it, but it's gold. So you get one signature. Both. You did both. You get Born to be Whale. Yeah, sorry about that.
All good. All good. I have no regrets. It's been a good month. It's been a really good month. I was like, yeah, okay.
So yeah, you get one signature Dino Tamer brand card, 2 random signature legendary cards from a curated pool of cards once again, and then 5 golden wild packs. So if you like your shinies, your signature cards, you get 3 guaranteed SIGs here, and then whatever comes in your wild packs. If I were missing cards, or if I was trying to get into wild, or had fallen behind in the last couple of years or whatever, definitely the way to go. I full agree, especially with strong expansions in here.
Yeah, the first bundle looks pretty good. The second bundle really is for like whales. Honestly, I have bought both as like, well, this is my part encouraging them to have more wild specific like buying options. So like that's my own, like I could swing it right now. So
another point is, so let's say you have not opened packs from either of these 3 sets, right? So Fractured and Alterac Valley, United in Stormwind, or Caverns of Time. You are going to open a legendary in your first 10 packs, right?
yeah,
So
true.
that's a total of 6 legendaries that you will get for this $40 price. Now, also, even if you have opened legendaries, or sorry, opened these packs before, it's 20, 20, and 20, right? So your average chance of getting a legendary is after 40 openings, 20 packs, right? Pity Timer's at 40, but your average is in 20. So there's a good chance, even if you have opened these before, you're going to get legendaries.
You're probably, yeah.
So you're not going to just get the 3 legendaries. You're going to get more. So it's a pretty good deal. And then there's also just this other bundle that's Year of the Wolf signature legendary that popped into. This isn't like a necessarily one of the cool wild bundles, but that's in the shop if you want. You get 1 random signature legendary from either Festival of Legends, Titans, or Showdown in the Badlands. If you feel like spending $25, or this bundle's actually in here for 4,000 gold. If you're cool with spending gold on a signature,
I'd be more likely to spend gold. I don't know if I'd spend $25 on a single card. There are some banger signatures though. Like we're talking, this is like Forge. You know, the Titans expansion especially was with like had some beautiful artwork in it. So like I could see it. And fortunately, I just all those expansions. Maybe not Festival of Legends, but the other 2 expansions especially had really good signatures.
Yeah, this is for definitely the people that are sort of top end trying to fill up their the SIG hunters, because the Final Union points out in chat that $25 for 1 single card is diabolical. Well, don't play Marvel Snap then.
Don't do it. Friends don't let friends play Marvel Snap.
It's kind of crazy. These I was thinking, I don't remember if I said this last week, but I was scrolling through the shop before last week's show, and I was like, I could spend my entire paycheck in here, like looking at all the stuff you can buy, right? Like it's so crazy. The shop just isn't, like card packs anymore. There's so many things. There's so much stuff. It's kind of crazy. So I don't even click the button. Like the shop button. I only go in there to see if sometimes like on the right side, they'll be like, this one's free and you get this thing, right? It doesn't happen that often, but every once in a while you get like a free thing in the shop. So I open it up and see if the free thing's in there. But other than that, there's nothing really in there for me. I only go in there when the new expansion hits or the mini set hits. And that's about it.
Pretty much same. I go in there for ranked bundles. I shouldn't say that. I do climb the standard ladder for the ranked bundles sometimes, because at least up until platinum is worth it. At least for me, if I want to have enough packs where I don't have to worry about pre-ordering. And like that's a cheap way for somebody who has, a full collection like me. to turn the standard packs into the next expansions packs, because that's the only ones I can get until I have all of the rares, the commons, and I start getting dupes.
Okay, well, enough about the shop. The big news that we had this week: Hearthstone Arena expands with new underground mode. So this is the article that was posted by Play Hearthstone. We're going to do basically a thorough dive into what this really is. So the new update is coming soon. It will be in patch 32.4. So step into the arena and earn your way into the underground. So the article starts off saying, Arena is our premium drafting mode where you can flex your deck building abilities and card knowledge in the ultimate test of skill. In patch 32.4, the arena mode is being split into 2 sections. So the arena and the underground. The arena features a revamped drafting experience, new rewards, and quicker runs. It's great for newer players and those who mostly enjoy the drafting part of the experience. The underground, on the other hand, is a more difficult mode, not for the faint of heart. You'll have to earn your way into the underground. There's longer runs, bigger rewards, and the new ability to redraft on loss. This is where arena veterans will feel at home. There are a lot of exciting new features to cover, so we'll get into specifics. I did notice here that it did say that the ability to redraft on loss is only once you're in the underground, right? It doesn't say. If I read this correctly, it says you'll have to earn your way into the underground. It has longer runs, bigger rewards, and the ability to redraft.
Yeah, you have to be in the underground for it, I believe. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so it didn't state that that's in the regular arena, but look at this. They've updated the user interface. Cool new board to see, look at your deck, all that sort of stuff. So arena landing page is what they're calling it. So the arena uses skill-based matchmaking to ensure players are paired up with someone at a similar experience level. The underground throws caution to the wind and pits you against players of any and all skill levels. Going forward, the leaderboard will only be for the underground. But if you want to see legacy scores, you can go back and that'll still be available online. So that's interesting. How do you feel about not having your matches actually being based upon your skill level?
So the way I'm kind of looking at the way they've split these modes so far, the arena is going to be like the kiddie pool. So, like, you hop into the kiddie pool and, like, you're supposed to play nice with the other people that they put you in there with. If you win too many games, you're going to start getting wild queued in the arena, and you're going to have to move to the underground. The underground they don't want to be, I would think, MMR-based, because the people who are really good at arena, who have been kicked out of the kiddie pool, are now in the deep end, and they want noobs to farm. So in theory, you're trying to make it enticing for people to try the underground so that you have them to play against, so that you have, varying levels of skill of people playing in the underground. So I think that's how I'm playing. That's how I'm sort of reading this.
What if there's not, like, let's say people in the underground and they got a really good MMR, like, how long are their queue times if they can't be matched up against noobs? Right,
especially if there's fewer people playing the underground, which might be the case, because we haven't even gotten at how you buy in yet, but it is more pricey to buy into the underground. I think this is also we'll get further on. Let's keep on rolling, because I think there's more here for sure.
So something to be noted is that they are moving the arena back to the main screen where, it used to be when Hearthstone was like first launched and Arena was on the main page. It is no longer in the modes section. It has been moved to the main screen, and sorry, Tavern Brawl, you're taking a back seat and you're moving under the modes button. The new Arena drafting speeds up runs and spices up legendaries. So the new version of the Arena costs 1 tavern ticket, like always, to enter, and will end now after 5 wins or 2 losses. Okay, 5 wins or 2 losses, not 3. Good to remember, because that's gonna mess me up.
Yeah, it's just like the theory craft, the little cutesy brawl that we have with the new cards early on that they do.
Tavern tickets can be granted, earned, bought in bundles, or purchased individually for 150 gold or 200 runestones. Rewards now include packs from recent expansions, and for those that reach 5 wins, you get a tavern ticket. So that's right, if you do well, you'll earn your next run. So before, I think the golden number in Arena was 7 wins, right? Because you always got enough to
go infinite. Yes.
Yeah, to go infinite, right? So now, technically, if you can do 5 wins, you can go infinite because you're just going to get another tavern ticket.
Right. Remember that, and this is the mode, though, that tracks MMR. So the more times you go infinite, in theory, the harder that becomes, because you're going to continue to be drafting against people who have also, in theory, have gone infinite as many times as you have. So this, I imagine, becomes a harder and harder. This becomes like, this is sort of this is being billed as like a more casual mode. But again, if you're really, really good at Arena, the problem you might have is that like they're basically shoving you out of it. They're like, no, we don't want you here. We want you to go someplace else. So you're not farming infinite value from this as an Arena casual if you're really good at it.
So one of the things that I first picked up, and I'm sure you did too, was it stated that rewards now include packs from recent expansions. So people who, they don't pre-order, or maybe they'd get one of them, say like the smaller pre-order or something like that, and then they're trying to fill out their expansion. This is ideal if you love that experience of playing the Arena to earn your expansion. For people that are born to be whales, unfortunately, it's not really ideal depending on the way you do things. For me, I would obviously prefer these to be standard packs, because I would be saving up for the next expansion.
Yeah, Arena's usually the most recent expansion, though. Arena's usually that. I will say, though, with the rewards, is they're trying to focus on gold is basically out of the reward system, at least, especially for the first Arena. And it's also worth noting, you can't buy into the Arena with gold anymore. Not technically. You have to go buy a tavern ticket before you then spend it and go into the Arena. So there's that added step of we're not paying gold at the door anymore.
It does say you can still spend 150 gold. It is stated.
Maybe it's the same. Gold. Maybe it's the same. Maybe like you go up to Arena and you're like, would you like to buy a tavern ticket with gold? And maybe it does it right there. That'd be the smart way to do it, since everybody's already done it. But it's just worth noting that you're not getting gold. You're getting tavern. They're trying to emphasize tavern tickets more, I think.
Yeah.
Is my main point. Because, we do have tavern ticket bundles where you can spend money on the tavern ticket bundles. And so now you have to leverage, well, a tavern ticket, when you buy it with money, costs like $2. And if you, at least in the US currency, I don't know what it's like in Canada. And then if you buy in a run, it's 150 gold. I equate 150 gold to be like $1.50. I don't.
That's how I think of it. I don't know why.
It's cheaper to do it with gold. So it's just worth noting that they want you to do tickets and not gold, which I don't know how much of a meaningful change that is, but it's just interesting to note.
Next, it states that to make the drafting process smoother, this is cool. We've added a new feature to the start of the drafting process of both modes, so your regular Arena and the Underground. called Legendary Groups. So the legendary card you choose is bundled with 3 additional cards that complement your choice and set the tone for your deck. Your arena drafts will now start off with a stronger foundation of 4 cards with solid synergy. I think that's pretty sweet, honestly, to be able to take your deck in a specific direction right off the bat. As long as you know what you're doing, obviously, because putting things together before could be quite difficult. I mean, it's only gotten better over time with this, and this is an improvement to that process. What do you think?
I think it's trying to even out the bell curve a little bit. So like it's right now in Arena, you're generally picking a legendary because it's a strong individual card on its own and on its merits. And so now, like attaching a little synergy packet to it, are the cards going to be the same every time? Is it going to be like a curated, like, no, you always get these 3 cards if you pick this legendary? It's going to be, they're going to be able to tweak it so that there's fewer haves and have-nots. But I think, for people who research ahead, it's going to be interesting because I think there are going to be a lot of people who end up going like, what's wrong? What'd I say?
No, I was sorry. You didn't say anything wrong. I was just thinking that if you were Rogue and you got Leroy's or Legendary, if they would let you pick Shadow Step, like, as your extra cards.
I don't know. Like, right. No. So, something along those lines. Like, I don't. Are there going to be some busted packages? Are the packages going to be the same every time? Or is it going to be a little bit more randomized where like, oh, I get my broken legendary, but I low rolled the 3 worst choices. And so I'm picking between the best legendary with like the 3 worst rolls that go along with it synergistically, but like, maybe they appear to have synergy on the front, but they're not good cards individually. You get the idea. Or versus
it could be like you get an Azoth or something and then they give you like the worst Death Rattle cards.
Right. Garbo, just like great 3 loot hoarders, great, awesome, right? So like you could have gotten a loot hoarder and something that was a little more medium, and then something that's like a big payoff because like Death Rattle is still important in the arena. So I think that might add another like little thing of strategy to it, a little extra elements of strategy. I don't know. It's intriguing. It seems fine. It seems like they're trying to make arena decks a little bit more synergistic. And a little less like just piles of cards, but I don't know. I kind of like, because I think the more fun high rolly runs, the ones that like Chinese viewers will pay, want to see the more synergistic runs. So I wonder if this is like sort of a nod or a tip of the cap of like, okay, let's not have these crazy high rolls where some of these decks are super synergized, and let's have these low rolls where some of these decks have almost no synergy, and maybe trying to just, like I said, smooth out the bell curve a little bit.
Do you think people who are really good deck builders and hardcore arena players kind of think this is sort of easy mode?
I'm going to have a little bit of a hot take. I feel like a lot of drafting in arena is actually not necessarily difficult deck building. I think the best cards are sort of known. And you might have some like tricky options where you have an opportunity where you've got 2 really good cards, and you're making a tough choice between them. But if you watch like an experienced like arena player playing arena, they know which cards are good for arena.
Oh yeah.
It's not like we're building a deck for ladder and we're making like, conscious decisions about, what specific tech card that we're going to see and that we're going to go up against, or, we're building this deck so that we're trying to counter the strategy that's really common right now. You're basically just picking the best card and rolling with it. And the best cards are kind of known. So like kind of hot take. I don't like, a lot of it's luck based because it's what you're offered, and then from there it's like, okay. And I'm sure there's some arenas that are harder to draft than others. I don't want to completely like just besmirch it, but I I don't know. I know some people there is a subset of people who play Arena who are annoyed that people will go on like me go on Hearthstone Arena tier list and then go by that as like the gospel. It's like, oh well, it's on easy mode. I draft my Arena blindly like a real man. Okay, right. But yeah, I don't. Somebody will be annoyed by it. Sure, we've got all sorts of weirdos in our community. So yeah, somebody's going to be grumpy about that, I suppose, Hydra. But I just I think they're missing the forest for the trees. It's already sort of on the rails and on easy mode. So like, sure, whatever.
Yeah,
nerd.
Yeah, right. Because even if. I mean, that's why they play Arena, right? Because it's supposed to be the harder version of the game, right? Because you can net deck anything in Standard and Wild, like constructed modes, right? This is supposed to be the Wild West here. So I was just thinking there's probably some hardcore players that may be a little upset about this, but I think it's cool. I think it's going to make it more interesting. Obviously, this is to get some new blood
I think it's going to make
your mode.
Your bad runs less bad because your deck is going to be more likely to function. It might also stifle some high rolls. So just again, smoothing out the curve, giving everybody a more even experience, I think.
Yeah. So they talked about the ready up screen where you can view your deck list, your mana curve, your win-loss record, and like the current reward tier that you're on. So you always know where you're at in your arena run. For those who crave a challenge and want to test their drafting mettle, step into the underground once you've proven yourself. So this is what I think is kind of funny. By winning 7 cumulative games in the arena, you will unlock the underground, where there's a higher difficulty, higher risks, and higher rewards. When I read this and it said that you need to win 7 total games in the arena to unlock the underground, I was like,
yes.
Am I reading this wrong? It's only 7 games. You need to only win a total of 7 games. I thought that they were going to like have this gate keeps like way harder, right? Like I thought that maybe it'd be like once you've won 100 games or something, like then you could get in, or you've done a 5. How about this? A 5-win run, or like 5 win runs, or something like that. Like I thought, because they're talking about how this underground mode is unlocked, or sorry, it is locked, and you're not going to be able to get into this. This is for the upper echelon. And then I read that you only need to win 7 total games in the arena to unlock it, which I thought was madness. But I think I know the reason, and I think you do too. So go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think this makes it harder to bot. Like I think you're gonna have bots in the initial mode and in the arena mode, and this is gonna make it harder to bot the underground. Harder to bot high rolls in the underground, because you're going to have this extra hurdle of, okay, go get your 7 wins in arena first and then switch game modes. And I don't know how easy or how hard it is going to be to program that. That seems kind of obnoxious, to be honest. So I think that's why they're doing it that way.
I don't know if it's how hard it is to program doing that. I don't really know. I also think that the underground is supposed to be this crazy place where you want to be for the upper echelon of players, making access to it easier. Like you mentioned earlier, those people at the top need noobs to farm. And so this is how the noobs get in.
Just saying. Yeah. So like this.
Right. Because you could.
Yeah.
Like you can have a couple of 2 or 3 win runs and then you get in, right? Like you don't have to be a pro to win 2 games, right? 2 wins, 2 losses. That's an average run for a lot of people. And you'll be in after just playing a few runs. So,
and I will say this. So if we're just looking at, okay, spending, when is it worth spending the entry fee to get in here? It looks like for the underground, you're at least breaking even on value alone, because I've been trying to like watch the scroll while we've been talking. At about 4 wins.
I just want to mention that so the underground requires 2 tavern tickets.
Yes. So that's
instead
technically
of
300 gold
1.
of value. So I'm looking at that as like anything that is functionally worth 3 packs or 300 gold is going to make it worth. So at like 4 wins, you're getting 95 gold in 2 packs. So you're functionally at a tiny fractional loss if you get 4 wins in the underground before you get dumped out. If you get 5 wins and get dumped out, you get a tavern ticket in 2 packs or a pack in gold. It looked like. We're gonna have to swing by again one more time. Oh, legendary. You get 2 packs, a legendary or dust, and a tavern ticket at 5 wins. So you really want to try and get 5 wins, and then you at least feel good about, okay, I have gone in, I've gotten 5 wins. I didn't go
not
infinite.
A legendary. That was a common or a rare card.
A rare? All right, fine. But I just like, oh man, I've got my value's worth of what I put into the arena. For me right now in the traditional arena, if you get 3 wins in the traditional arena, you get 150 gold's worth of value. Are you going infinite where you're getting your gold back? No. And like everybody's like, well, no, Schmoopy, that's not right. You have to get 7 wins to get your gold back. Well, yes, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about at what point is it stupid for me to spend my money on playing arena versus just going to the shop and buying the pack. And getting 3 wins in the current system is worth. In this system,
it is. Yes, I've always argued that it's not 7.
It's lower. It's lower.
Yeah.
Chill out, Reddit. In this particular situation, they've raised that bar. They said, okay, now it's going to be 5. You're getting your value back. I have some misgivings. I think this is a little bit dangerous. I think who's gonna, unless people are really greedy, or like you're really like banking on like, oh, the Gamba's gonna hook them up. It's going to be hard to justify dropping 300 gold and then hopping in this new, expensive, really hard mode where there's a bunch of people who are better than me waiting for me to sign up and take my lunch money, right? Like that is a thing that could happen.
It is. Now, if you've noticed, when you get to 6 wins, that is where you get 2,000 gold.
A chance at 2,000 gold.
It ups from, so at 6 wins, it's 5% chance, and then it goes all the way up to, let's see, at 13%.
That is for a 12-0 run, by the way. That is for an unbeaten run in Arena. I think this is cute. This sort of makes it like, this is supposed to entice the Gamba, right? Like this is supposed to entice the gamblers into thinking, all right, well maybe I'll be that guy that gets that. Maybe
I was trying not to say the G word.
Oh, sorry. All right,
it is the G. It kind of is the G word a little bit, right?
I mean, no, it's absolutely not. It's odds based value distribution. No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes.
So yes. So like, I can imagine people are going to mauled about this. There's going to be some people who are going to get all the way to Lightforged and they will not have hit the crowd's favor and not got their 2K gold and are going to throw a hissy fit. And I can't wait to read it because it's going to be wonderful copy pasta. But that's I think this is a nice touch to make it like, hey, yeah, there's a high risk, but there's also like this super extra like, oh, blowout reward that you have like a 5% chance of getting. Let's say you high roll that. That's quick math. How many tickets? Almost 7? 6, like 6.5 tickets. You're like, that's a couple more runs. Yeah, that's all right.
You know what? I think that if all this ends up doing is bringing, more viewership on Twitch, people are going to watch streamers play this mode, brings more attention to the game. And let's be real. The people that are streaming this quite often, they're going to have viewers. They're going to be probably donating so that they can play the mode and all that sort of stuff. So it ends up, sort of fueling itself and just brings more attention to the mode.
Yeah, I'm kind of mixed. I feel like they're trying to make, it feels like they're trying to make Arena less farmable. They're trying to make like Arena mains come out of their shell a little bit and like, all right, use your gold, buy your tavern tickets. You're not getting gold in return. You're getting stuff that builds your collection. You're getting packs and dust, but a lot of like Arena mains don't really care about that, right? Like they don't. Some of them do. Like I watch Save File. Like whenever he's drafting, he makes a consideration whether or not he wants to make a card gold before he drafts it, because he wants to try and have an all gold Arena deck when he plays. But there's a lot of people who only play Arena who never crack their packs. They just collect packs, and their packs are their trophies for how well they did in that expansion when that Arena was there, which is like a really kind of cool concept. If you're just like never playing Constructed and only playing Arena, I feel like this is like trying to like flush those people out a little bit and maybe like get them to engage more meaningfully with the game, or just like make it harder for them to go infinite, or just that's just like where my instincts are leaning. I don't necessarily think all of these changes are going to be well received, but I know definitely the redrafting is. That's something that they've been asking for. Arena Main's been asking for forever.
So speaking of that,
I was going to say, I wasn't sure if we'd gotten there yet. Sorry.
If you reach the maximum of 12 wins, you get the Spectral Ner'zhul Hearthstone hero skin and more. So here's
good looking skin.
A shot of the hero skin. Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
I think he's a shaman. Something that's what it said. It looks like he's a shaman. Yeah, shaman.
So yeah, you need 12 wins to get that. So here we go. This is the rework your deck, then re-enter the fight. So the new redraft on loss feature allows you to modify your deck. They've talked about this a little bit in the past that this was coming, but with freshly drafted cards every time you take a loss in the underground. So after losing a match, you'll be given the opportunity to draft 5 new cards and re-edit your deck, fine-tune your strategy, and keep your run alive. I think that's pretty cool because you're going to get some duds, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So you're going to get a chance to look at 5 cards and then see afterwards where you're going to slot them in. At least I think that's the order you're going to do it in. You're going to be able to select, like according to this, if you look at this little video, you're going to draft 5 new cards. They're going to go into the top right, and then you'll be able to make your adjustments after that, swap them in and out. So that's pretty cool because sometimes you just get cards that you ever use Hearth Arena and you have like all these cards that are picked like 5% of the time. Or they got a score of like 5 or something like that. And they're just awful.
They're bad.
They're just awful. And you're like, I've got to pick one of these. And so, yeah, those can go. You're just going to replace them. So these arena updates on June 2nd, that's soon.
Yes.
Today's the 30th. This is Monday.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. The new season. Yep. So I want to highlight this. The new season will feature curated lists. Remember that. Of cards for each class, with cards coming from any expansion. And then cards from Into the Emerald Dream expansion and Embers of the World Tree mini set will be included in the card pool. So I like that it does say any expansion. So this seems like a fully wild arena, right? But curated.
Pretty much, yeah. But like, yeah, right. So you'd hope that they curate out the duds. Like there's a lot of times you'll see cards eliminated from being able to be drafted, not because they're broken or OP, but because they're literally unplayable in some cases. But yeah, no, like the redrafting, like let's say like you want to play Imbue Priest in Arena right now, and you don't get any Imbue cards, and you lose your first match. You can like chuck 5 of your cards and try and get some Imbue cards. I think this is all, like I said, is all like sort of leveling out the curve, right? Like trying to make the Arena experience less on how lucky you were in your draft and more how skilled you are as a player, which seems like a benefit to me.
This is something I'm sure we're all going to try. I don't know. I don't think this is going to make me an Arena main by any means. But as I have stated on the podcast in the past, I am a tavern ticket hoarder. I still have a lot. I think I took it down from, I was at like 32 and I brought it down to 22, but then probably back up again since then. So I'll unlock the underground, and why not play it if you're playing for free?
100%.
See where I can get there. I'm not losing anything by any means. Maybe I'll get a little lucky.
No, you're just using value that you got.
Yeah, why not? And yeah, I do understand that you're getting the latest expansion. Just my little gripe that you can't just like store packs for the future with this.
Yeah, but the latest expansion also, to be like a counterpoint to that, is the latest expansion gets you cards that are more likely to get nerfed and are going to require some balancing. So it might actually be more value per dust that you do get the latest expansion. That's actually very possible.
That's as soon as you started speaking, I knew what you were going to say. And that is a really good point, because they're not often nerfing older cards unless they've been a tyrant for a long time. They're going to rotate. They're going to do something about it.
Or they're just usually, like, running amok in Twist.
Twist? I forgot about that mode.
Wait. Oh, yeah.
But this is cool. I like the idea of it. Arena's been looking for a revamp for a while. It's, other than Standard, the game's oldest mode, if I'm remembering correctly. So that's super cool. Breathe some new life into the mode. And I'm interested into how they're going to, other than, like announcing it on Twitter and having podcasts talk about it and that sort of stuff, how they're going to advertise this, because they did talk about they want to get new players in with this. So I don't know. Let me know if next time you're watching a sports game and there's a Hearthstone commercial, because I've never seen one.
It wouldn't shock me if we had an event that gave away tavern tickets. Like, would that really shock you? Like, that wouldn't shock me if they did that. I mean, well, then again, we just had an event that was like Arena focused that was giving away tavern tickets, didn't we? So maybe it already came and went, and if you spent your tickets already, sucks to be you, nerd. Like, maybe that's the issue that we have here. But I don't know. Wouldn't shock me if people got like, oh, here's X number of tavern tickets to spend, just to get as many people's feet wet as possible, so that like it doesn't feel empty in the underground to start. Because I think that's like the biggest issue, is if let's say these modes are not popular. Like, let's say the underground isn't popular and no one's playing it. And then, like, if no one's playing it, it's a disaster, because now it's just like a more expensive, higher risk, but the only people in the pool are like real degenerates that are actually very good at the mode, is like the fear, right? It's like the super stubborn and like the super, super, super good at it. So it gets a little bit like big fish, little pond, scary kind of mode there.
And I'm glad that they're experimenting. Obviously, this is actually less of a risk, because they're just taking in a mode that already exists and they've just added this second layer to it. They didn't create an entire new mode that's gonna flop or could flop. But I understand why they take these risks. Like, look at Battlegrounds. Like, they invented Battlegrounds. I don't think they fully realized how huge it was going to get. Like, I don't know the exact numbers, but like 50% of the population of Hearthstone gamers are playing Battlegrounds over any sort of other
It's
mode.
it's the most popular game mode,
Right?
1,000%.
Like it's crazy, and it wasn't even monetized, and so they had to do something about that, right? And then we've had other modes that have come and gone. Unfortunately, sorry, Schmoopydady.
Poor duels, poor mercs.
Anybody who spent money, there's people who dropped dollars, lots of dollars on mercenaries, man.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Fortunately, I didn't.
The
There was. I
mercenaries
think
incident.
I think I bought a couple bundles. I think, yeah, because you could get like a diamond card at the beginning. No, it was Diablo, right? Like at the beginning, you couldn't get Diablo unless you bought in, and so I needed. I love Diablo. Diablo's one of my favorite games, right? And so of course, I'm gonna buy that bundle at the beginning. But that mode is so dead, I can't remember the last time I clicked on it. Like it's still there. I'm pretty sure. It's in the mode section, right?
I absolutely never used to go into it and forget to click out of my game for exactly half an hour at a time. Never did that. No, never.
Totally forgot about that.
Never, ever.
Totally forgot about that. That's
now
so
it gets
funny.
you the same amount of experience as a solo adventure. So like, unless
I used to go into it because they would take, like, if you had too many of one thing, you could trade it in for something else you were missing. That was a cool, like, quality of life feature they had added to, like, if you have too much. I don't even remember the in-game currency. It was called, like, experience with, like, one card. You could cash it in for, like, XP for another card. And I used to do that. Just, like, check it, like, once a day, and you could, like, do that. I haven't looked. I don't think I've clicked on that button in at least a year.
I actually the time that I actually was like seriously playing it, I kind of enjoyed it because I'm a millennial who grew up on grindy RPGs. So like I was sort of like enjoying the grindy part, and I was just like, yeah, this is great. But like that is not what people wanted. Like I'm a strange breed to have enjoyed that part of it. A lot of people complained about the grindiness of Mercs.
It was like World 1 level 6 or whatever, if I'm remembering that correctly, or something like that. You do the same one like over and over and over because it was the quickest to get to the end.
I find that soothing. I enjoy that part.
To get to the thing.
A lot of other people
whatever
are like,
it was
what
called.
Are you doing?
Yeah, and just do it over and over. Actually, like Nate, Sheep, and I had a spreadsheet of like where we were all at, and we were racing. And as far as we know, Sheep was either first or second worldwide to have like a complete, fully leveled up like catalog.
Yeah,
he was either first or second, and we're not sure. Because he was like the
born
first
to be mercs for like a couple months.
Yeah,
you guys
he was
were
like the
in
first
there.
person to post it, but then someone from like Asia or whatever also had posted it, and we weren't sure. Like, we need Blizzard, if you're listening, can you go and check your data to see? But yes, we were born to be mercs for sure.
Yo, hat.
Just like I was sitting there watching TV and just grinding that same level. Like over and over, that one world, over and over and over and over, and then updating my spreadsheet constantly.
Man, I play Monster Hunters. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like, oh yeah, well, I need the 2% drop from the Drake. Let's go. Let's otra vez. We'll do it again. We didn't get what we wanted. Let's go.
And speaking of, you know what? I think they were trying to emulate Diablo 2, because in Diablo 2, the end game is you just do the final boss Baal over and over and over and over again. Like, you can spend your entire day killing the same boss. And that's how people grind for XP in Diablo 2. And then they nerfed it in Mercs. They started nerfing the grindy parts, right?
Yeah.
They made the grindy parts worse and harder to do, which was like, come on. Like, I don't know why. Like,
they made it harder. They made it even harder.
and so then less people played your mode, and now no one plays your mode.
Yeah.
Right? Like, why did you nerf the thing that we could at least, like, the one thing we were enjoying in the mode so that we could play PvP? Because you had to do that. I think that was a mistake. They should have left that. Maybe. Well, Born to be Mercs.
Anyway, yeah.
This is
Sorry.
Was
we took it.
This is Born to be Arena episode. But yeah, that's all the news. I'm excited to try the new arena mode, the new underground mode. I don't know. I spend my gold usually on packs, so I'll probably just be using tavern tickets for this. I highly doubt I'll ever spend real money or gold on it, but definitely gonna try it for sure.
If I enjoy it, I'll go in on it. I am like, when it came out, I saw some people were super hyped, and I was like looking at the value systems, and I'm like, I don't know. But you know,
You dabble in arena already.
I dabble in arena already, but that's like it's like my casual thing to do when I'm not playing Wild off stream, because I don't always want to mess with my Wild rank, or I have hit Legend and it's early in the month and Wild Q is gross, and so I don't want to play Standard, so I go play Arena. Or I might find myself like, oh, I'm in the middle of a Survivor competition with a bunch of crappy decks. I'm at crappy MMR. If I play a real deck, I'm going to win too much, and then I'm not going to win with any of the crappy decks. So I might as well go play a different game mode so I don't ruin my Wild MMR. Like, there's reasons for why I play Arena a fair amount, and yeah, I don't know. This looks like it's going to benefit people who do the research ahead and know what they're looking for and know what the best stuff is. So,
is there any chance you have some unrelated advice?
Mm-hmm.
Unrelated advice with Hydralisk.
Okay. Hydra.
Yes.
Okay. So the arena's coming. The upgraded arena is coming, right? And
Correct.
we're gonna have to go underground, it sounds like, in order to play in it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay.
Now, you've sort of disclosed over the course of the show that, like, you have dabbled in the mining industry. So going underground sounds like you have you're an expert on this. So I want to know, what are your top 5 tips for going underground?
Five is a lot, but first one is,
Yes.
I mean, and probably the best is your PPE. There's no
Excuse
way
me? We can't.
your PPE.
It's a family show. You can't mention that.
That's your personal protective equipment, Schmoopydady.
You still can't mention that. That doesn't change anything.
I'm talking about, like, steel toe boots, like your hard hat.
You still can't talk about that. Wiser words were never been spoken, and you heard that on.
To find the button. I didn't expect it to happen so fast.
Or to be wild.
So now we get to have a dance party, right?
So, if anyone's in chat right now that was not watching at the beginning, we had some audio problems at the beginning.
Some interesting audio issues.
Do you want me to play it again?
Please.
For people that didn't.
Please do it. Yes.
There's something that I had to add one time. Like a new audio source that didn't seem necessary.
Sounds like 2 sources to me, if I were to
necessary,
guess.
and
Sounds like 2
that's-
sources to me,
Okay.
if I were to guess.
Necessary,
Sounds like
and
2
that's-
sources to me.
Oh my gosh, it's like looping. Okay, I'm just gonna speak if you don't mind. Just let me talk, and then I know there's like a delay, and then I'm gonna turn my volume on the stream, and then I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. So I'm just talking, and I'll be able to hear myself. I'm afraid to say something. I'm afraid to say something. I'm afraid to say something.
So Twitch caught that.
I'm afraid
We
to
need
say
to
something.
highlight that.
Twitch caught
Turn that
that.
into like a
We
short.
need to highlight